Electric cars are great until you're driving above 80 miles per hour. In this video, it's all about the main mistakes that reduce your electric car's range. At high speeds, the battery gets jammed and drains faster. Cold weather doesn't help either because at freezing temperatures, EVs can lose up to 50% of their range. Today, we're breaking down 7 ways you're unknowingly killing your EV's range. And the first one starts with something you probably do every day, speeding like you're in a race. Let's take for example a Tesla Model Y driving at 87 miles per hour. At that rate, it can lose nearly 40% of its expected range because aerodynamic drag multiplies with speed. That means a car that normally gives you 300 miles suddenly drops to 180 miles. Everyday driving tricks don't help either. Driving at 70 instead of 60 miles per hour can decrease efficiency by around 10 to 15%. When speed exceeds 80 miles per hour, the impact on efficiency becomes even more significant, often resulting in a 20 to 30% or greater decrease compared to driving at 60 miles per hour. This is due to increased aerodynamic drag and engine load. Oh, that's not all. Drag racing is the ultimate example. An EV moving at 150 miles per hour or more burns through energy unbelievably fast. The bottom line is that the faster you go, the harder your battery cries. And a joke like Tesla ludicrous mode, more like ludicrous energy drain, basically proves our point. If you're used to highway driving at 70-ish, you might not feel bothered by this, but hitting triple digits consistently slashes range. That makes the luxury lounges or fast chargers matter more than just the comfort they provide, because they let you go fast without paying in lost miles. Now, while speeding does its own damage, what effect does the cold have on your EV? Cold weather can wreck your EV's efficiency by starting with your range. In really cold regions like Michigan or Alaska, the percentage of range loss your EV experiences can spike to 30 to 36%, especially with full cabin heat on. This is because cold slows battery chemistry and ups internal resistance, meaning fewer ions flow and charging slows down. It's kind of like trying to spread cold butter on toast. Plus, using the full AC or heater while charging or driving drains a lot more power. The worst-case scenario is being on a snow-covered road with no open chargers, full heater blasting, and absolutely no cabin prep. That's an EV's version of hell, except the hell is cold and not hot. Behind the scenes, most of the range loss is the energy used just to stay warm. Studies from Recurrent Auto and Parker show that even today's heat pump EVs lose some range, although it's far less. Models like the Hyundai Ioniq 5 and the Jaguar I-Pace can retain about 80 to 97% of their range in freezing temperatures if preconditioned and using efficient thermal systems. That exposes just how much of your battery could go to heating rather than driving, and how missing simple prep like preconditioning or thermal driving modes can really leave you stuck. That brings us to how you're probably abusing climate control and how that's the third mistake you're making. You really shouldn't be running the heater, defroster, and seat warmers all on full blast when it's cold outside. Most EV heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems draw around 2 to 4 kilowatts, which can cost you 10 to 15% of your driving range per hour of use. Heated seats are quite the opposite because they use just 50 to 100 watts, meaning they barely affect your battery compared to cabin heating. So while full climate control feels warm and cozy, it drains energy fast, especially during long trips or cold starts. Now, what can you do instead so you don't freeze? Here's a smart trick. Precondition your car while plugged in, then rely on heated seats instead of cabin heat to stay comfortable and preserve range. Now that's out of the way, here's the fourth thing you're doing that's ruining your range: using the wrong tires or having bad tire pressure. Besides being a really bad idea because they're very unsafe, under-inflated tires also reduce EV range. Tires that are low pressure increase rolling resistance, which can add up to 10% more drag. This causes your EV to burn more energy per mile. That's like carrying extra weight all the time. In some real-world tests, drivers reported losing as much as 30 miles of a 300 miles battery range by running tires below the recommended pressure level. Apart from range, underinflation also commonly affects handling, tire wear, and braking safety. The best way to avoid this issue is by checking your tire pressure monthly or at least before a long drive. This can help prevent energy loss and extend range easily. Keeping tires at the manufacturer recommended PSI also keeps your EV going farther on the same charge. The fifth mistake you're making is loading up your EV with gear. We're talking roof boxes, bike racks, and trailers. All of these may feel practical, but altogether, they eat into your range pretty quickly. Extra weight adds drag, and this forces the motor of your EV to work harder. Tests show roof boxes alone can cut range by 15 to 25%, especially at highway speeds. This means 45 to 75 miles loss on a 300 miles battery range. The drag every extra kilo adds is not just their weight, but also how the wind pushes against them too. If you're pulling a trailer, for example, you might have your range entirely, so instead pack only what's necessary or just leave the roof box at home unless you need it. Next, how you're charging your EV is another issue we need to finally address. Fast charging your EV to 100% on a regular basis heats up cells and stresses your battery and degrades the capacity faster over time. Studies show the average EV battery loses about 2 to 3% of capacity per year, and frequent fast charging can push that upward slightly. Charging in hot weather makes things so much worse because heat speeds up chemical reactions that wear down cells. One EV owner reported 12% battery degradation after just 1 year of poor charging habits and constant high state of charge cycles. Instead of making this mistake, smart drivers do one thing. They use buffer charging. This means they stay between 20 to 80% for daily use and only charge to 100% when that battery percentage is needed for long trips. This helps slow battery chemical wear and keeps your range more stable long term. Last but not least, here's the seventh mistake you're making that's ruining your EV's range. But you could say this is the most common one: how you're driving. Your driving style and poor planning can quietly drain your EV's range. Sudden acceleration and heavy braking make the motor work harder, and regenerative braking only recovers a small fraction, which is often less than 10%, especially on highway speeds or hills where it's less effective. Climbing hills drains energy really fast, and going downhill only recovers a portion of that, and some tests show very little net gain. If you assume the next charger is only 20 miles away, but it's closed or broken, you'll end up stranded. So planning your route and using cruise control instead of constant start-stop driving makes a huge difference. Now, because we really want the best for you, let's debunk some myths you probably heard when it comes to EV range. The first one is that regeneration adds tons of range. In reality, it does help, but it only recaptures just really a small amount of energy, which is often less than 10%, and it works best in stop-start or downhill driving. The next myth is that eco mode saves everything. Yes, it helps, but aggressive driving still wastes all that energy you're trying to save and even some more. The third myth is that a bigger battery always equals better range, when in reality, efficiency, weather, load, and driving style actually matter more than battery size alone. Now that we've let you in on all the preventive measures that'll help you not ruin your range, always keep in mind that the smartest EV owners always precondition their battery before a drive. They use route planning apps like a Better Route Planner to avoid charging gaps. Regularly check tire pressure and rely on heated seats instead of the heater. These simple habits save your battery's energy and reduce stress on your battery over time. If you enjoyed this video, have a look at our previous one, where we compare the difference between two extremes of EV charging, the $1 charging station versus a $1 million EV lounge. Meanwhile, share your worst range-killing stories in the comments. We'd love to know them. And subscribe to our channel so your battery never reaches 0%.